This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi everyone, Rusty back here with your latest Meteo Mundo forecast. I hope you've been having a great weekend. Wanted to come on and talk about, we've had some very heavy rainfall and some excessive rain in portions of the Lesser Antilles. There's going to be some other spots with some high rainfall potential over the next several days as well. We'll be watching a cold front coming in through the United States. It's going to really bring up some changes to the Yucatan and portions of the Bahamas. Now, this is this visible satellite imagery, gorgeous here on this Saturday afternoon. First of all, again, we still have some moisture in the Eastern Caribbean. There will still be some rain for the Lesser Antilles today. It's not going to be as concentrated or as heavy, but still that potential as well. Watching some moisture developing in the southwest Gulf of Mexico that when it combines with that stationary front that'll be moving in and stalling out, that's going to be some excessive rain for portions of the Yucatan, including Cancun and Cozumel, and some big changes for portions of the Bahamas as well. So let me start off with kind of what's happening for today right now. And again, the rain is going to be much more spotty, but we've had some very heavy rain in places like Trinidad and Tobago and Grenada and Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Lucia, all the way up towards Guadeloupe and Dominica. So let me know in the comments section below what you've been seeing. Some of you have already let me know from the last video that you've had some excessive rain. Today, it's going to be much more spotty in nature. There will still be some downpours, and if there are some higher water levels in the area, any additional rain could cause some problems, but we've shifted the moisture axis a little bit farther off towards the west. You can see on the water vapor imagery, there's not nearly as much green as yesterday, and we had some good rain Thursday and Friday. There'll still be some downpours today, but just not as widespread, and this will continue up towards Anguilla and Montserrat and Antigua and Barbuda for the U.S. and British Virgin Islands as well. Same thing for Hispaniola. We'll get some rain, especially on the Dominican Republic side. When you get as far west as Jamaica, not a lot of rain for you guys. I'll show you that coming up. ABC Islands will get a few showers as well. And then when I expand this view, maybe not that far, but when I expand this view, you see this moisture coming up through the Eastern Pacific over Mexico. We're going to get a lot of moisture developing in the southwest Gulf of Mexico. Here comes some rain for the Yucatan, including Cancun and Cozumel, especially when it combines with a cold front. Still up in the central United States right now, but as it moves in late in the weekend and early next weekend stalls out, now that moisture rides along that boundary, and here comes some heavy rain. And some big changes for the Bahamas as well with that same front. Showers and storms and the opportunity as well to get in the way of some cooler weather indeed. All right, so let's start off here. I want to show you these winds as well that go along with this. So we're going to take a look at the rainfall, and then we're going to look at the wind profile as well. So that's what you're looking at here. And again, they just want to show you that to begin this forecast period, we're starting off with mainly an east wind through the Caribbean, Turks and Caicos, and the Bahamas, even a southeast wind up towards the northwest sides of the Caribbean. Now, as this goes through time, eventually that cold front will be working its way in, and those winds will begin to shift. So we'll get the winds turning with the front, and it's going to be a very breezy forecast tomorrow for the northwest Bahamas, but then those winds turn out of the north into the east. And if you notice, if you look towards Cancun, almost kind of a broad spin in the southwest Gulf, it's just an enhanced area of some heavier rain. So that's what I anticipate here as we go over the next couple of days, is that obviously these winds are going to swing out of the north into the east with this front. And as it does so, we're going to get some big changes there and pin some heavier rain. Look at that. We're just going to pin that rain there. Okay, so let's take a look kind of at some of those areas. I want to take off the wind layer here. I'm going to start back off down in the southwest side of the Lesser Antilles. We'll put this into motion. And again, scattered showers in the forecast. Nothing as concentrated, no doubt about it. But if you live in Trinidad and Tobago and Grenada and Barbados, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, again, you'll see some spotty showers today, maybe a little bit more rain midweek, but overall, we're moving that heaviest activity out of your area. But again, let me know if the rain that you've had over the last 2 or 3 days has caused you any problems, or at least some higher water levels. Guadeloupe and Dominica and Martinique will get on the act as well. Spotty rain up towards St. Kitts and Nevis and Anguilla and Antigua and Barbuda. Same thing for the Virgin Islands. We're going to catch some showers even later today, but there's nothing very concentrated. I don't expect a lot of rain for your area overall over the next 5 days. We can get a couple of spots up to an inch. That's about it. Look towards Aruba and Bonaire and Curacao, guys. Not a lot of rain. Again, a couple of spotty showers, but the moisture as it's moving off towards the west is encountering drier air. That will change once it gets towards Central America, but as it traverses the Caribbean, there's not a lot to help the shower chances. Again, the Dominican Republic side of Hispaniola, spottier rain, relatively dry for Haiti with that rain shadow effect with the higher terrain. For my friends in Kingston and Mandeville, Portmore, Spanish Town, Montego Bay, Negril, Port Antonio, Maypen, I wish I had a better rain chance for you guys. I know it's been pretty steamy across the island. You could see some evening and overnight showers as we get into Sunday and Monday, but you know, this is looping over the next 5 days and there's nothing very concentrated. There's just not a lot of rain in the forecast for Jamaica. Now, again, as we get towards, let's say even the Cayman Islands, but especially towards the Yucatan, here comes the changes. Let's start off with the wider view. You see the moisture coming back over Mexico, really concentrated over the southwest Gulf, and then it interacts with that front. Now, again, that front's going to stall out, and look at the heavy rain potential through portions of the Yucatan and the Gulf here, especially early next week. Let this run one more time, and then we'll kind of stair step it for you here as we go through the week. So, again, relatively dry for today, but let's say you're on a cruise ship and one of your ports of call early next week is Cancun, or you're spending the week there. It's going to be a relatively wet forecast starting on Monday because, again, this front is expected to stall out, and with all of that moisture to its west, we're going to stay with a high chance for rain. Now, it's not going to be a washout, but it is going to be a fairly wet period Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. So keep that in mind if you have travel plans there. If this front were to go a little bit farther south, unfortunately, that would carry even the higher rain and the richer moisture farther south. So we actually want to stall this front out north of your area. That would be the best case scenario. Then for the Bahamas, again, it's going to be a big change up here over the next 5 days. First thing is today, it's a warm day, the Saturday, with a south wind with some spotty rain. Going to be a complete change up, a big 180 tomorrow as that front arrives. We're going to see some showers and even some storms moving in, and then the opportunity for some much cooler weather beginning on Monday and especially Tuesday with a very breezy northwest wind. I'm going to switch over here to the HER model, and we'll take a look at that. And again, for our friends in the Bahamas, especially the Northwest Bahamas, towards Freeport, Lucaya there, Grand Bahama, Abaco and Andros and Eleuthera and New Providence, look what I'm talking about. Again, spotty rain with the south winds today. Then here comes our front tomorrow and into early on Monday. And I can't even rule out the opportunity for a few isolated storms embedded with this rain. Good downpour is going to kick up the surf and sea conditions, and then you can see that rain kind of swing out early on Monday morning. But again, it's pretty decent for early December to get this thunderstorms in the forecast. It's not going to be as widespread in the southeast Bahamas or the Turks and Caicos, but even the central Bahamas could get on the act, Arthurstown down towards Georgetown, for, again, spotty heavier rain and a few thunderstorms to go along with it. Okay, let's take a look at the potential for the rainfall totals over the next 5 days. So let me swing over to the total precipitation. As I do so, again, thank you very much for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing if you're not a subscriber and you want the newest information here across the Caribbean and the Bahamas. First thing I need to do is pick the correct model, which I finally have, and then let's get back down here and look at the next 5 days. Okay, so you're looking at the total precipitation, the accumulation in your area here over the next 5 days. Again, the blues are relatively light rainfall totals, an inch or less. You get into the pinks and the purples and the whites and the grays, now you're getting into a little bit more significant rain. So even if we pop on just another inch and a half in Trinidad and Tobago and Grenada, again, the areas that have had some heavier rain the last couple of days, that could lead to additional problems. So just keep that in mind. Again, I don't expect there to be as widespread heavy rain up towards Barbados and St. Lucia, but again, we're adding on to totals that have been significant over the last couple of days. Same thing for my friends in Martinique and Dominica and Guadeloupe. Again, getting some reports that we've had some areas of very heavy rain there, and we could add on another inch and a half. It gets a little bit spottier to get any heavier rain for Anguilla and Antigua and Barbuda. Again, a quarter to a half inch, maybe in some spots, but I'm not concerned about any flooding issues there. Pockets of heavier rain on the eastern sides of Puerto Rico, but otherwise the British and the Virgin Islands. Again, we'll see a little bit of rain, but not much. Could see some heavy rain on the northern sides of Hispaniola, especially again the northeast corner of the Dominican Republic. Even Santo Domingo could get more than an inch of rain. And again, it's relatively dry for the Haiti side as these east winds drive in the rain from east to west. For my friends in Jamaica, as I mentioned, there's not a lot of rain, guys. Maybe a quarter inch at best. Notice though, again, that this moisture lines up along the Caribbean coastline of Central America and from Costa Rica towards Nicaragua and Honduras on over towards Roatan and Belize City. We could get, several inches of rain. Most of this coming in after the weekend into early in the week. It's something I'll keep an eye on here, but again, really favoring the coastal areas. And for Cancun and Cozumel, take a look at this. Again, you're looking at maybe upwards of 3+ inches of rain over the next 5 days. But look at this maximum just to your north and west. Again, we want to keep this front north of you. Otherwise, some of this more significant rain could drop south towards the Yucatan. And again, as this front arrives early to mid next week, your winds are going to swing out of the north into the east. And it's the same scenario for the northwest Bahamas, not as concentrated of rain, but showers and storms late tomorrow and into early on Monday, where we could get more than an inch of rain for Abaco on over towards New Providence and Eleuthera. Maybe not as much for places like Weston and High Rock there on Grand Bahama, but still significant changes and much cooler weather that come along for the ride as well. So one more kind of wider view here, again, of our area. We'll see showers and storms redeveloping in the Lesser Antilles, working their way off towards the west, and then that front is something I'm going to keep a very close eye on, and the changes it will bring to our northwest areas as we get into early next week. Friends, again, thank you very much for liking the video. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe if you haven't as well. Have a great rest of your day and weekend. I'll see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.